Hello, and welcome to Madeleine at the Movies, the Golden Days film review segment, designed to make you feel a little more informed when it comes to choosing what to watch next. I'm Madeleine Swain. The first thing I want to say about The Plague, the debut feature film from writer-director Charlie Pollinger, is that it has nothing to do with Albert Camus. I became a little confused as I knew that there was an adaptation of the writer's work about to hit our screens and thought that this was it, but I was getting it mixed up with The Stranger, the latest François Ozon film, which is based on a Camus novel and is in the lineup of the upcoming French Film Festival. So now we've cleared that up. The Plague was produced by Joel Edgerton, who also appears in it as a sympathetic coach at a boys' water polo summer camp. The film has been described as Lord of the Flies crossed with a tween-age body horror thriller, and that's about as accurate an assessment as you could get. As a tightly wound examination of early toxic masculinity, how it arises in young boys and how it can spread when groups of 12 or 13-year-olds decide to gang up on a hapless victim, The Plague takes its punches and lands them with an admirable impact. The sight of Edgerton's name in the credits and in the promotional material may mislead you into thinking he's the star of the film, but he's very much the supporting player, there to back up the real stars, who are the young boys playing the camp attendees. And this is Charlie Pollinger's trump card. All the boys are strong, but Everett Blunk, in the lead role of Ben, a newcomer to the camp anxious to fit in, is seriously impressive. There are some pretty heavy emotional scenes in this screenplay, and he handles them all remarkably well, as does K.O. Martin as Jake, Ben and the film's chief antagonist, a confident but sly, curly-headed provocateur and the film's chief bully. The plague of the title refers to a third boy, Eli, played by Kenny Rasmussen, who appears to have some sort of painful and extensive skin rash. The other boys scream plague and ostracize and bully him constantly. But how will Ben, who is naturally a sympathetic and gentle-natured boy, act when his desire to fit in with the crowd clashes with his sensitivity to the outlier's situation? To tell this story, Pollinger shoots as if making a dark thriller, but he breaks the action every so often with moments of genuine creativity, especially around the pool when he plays with light and dark and submerged moving bodies in a sort of dystopian Busby Berkeley routine. While apparently set in the US, the film was actually shot in Bucharest in Romania, presumably as a cost-saving exercise. But this slight disconnection actually works in its favour, I think, lending the film a pervasive, unsettling atmosphere that spills out into genuine shock and gore in a couple of sequences. And the scenes in which one or other of the young boys confronts the rash spreading across their bodies dip their toe into genuine David Cronenberg waters, although pull back from going full gross-out repulsion. This is The Plague, but it's not The Fly or Dead Ringers. In the end, the overall sensation is one of sadness and not a little hopelessness. William Golding wrote Lord of the Flies in 1954, 72 years later, and we're still coming up with stories that say if you get a group of young boys together, the bullying and the violence and the ganging up on the weaker members remains inevitable. And in fact, there's also another version of the actual Lord of the Flies just started streaming on Stan. But surely if we want to find answers to this, maybe we need to start making films where young boys get together and support each other and lift each other up. After all, the reasoning for making more films and writing more books with positive female role models has long been, if she can see it, she can be it. Now, wouldn't that work the other way around too? Surely it's worth a try. In the meantime, we have films like The Plague that paint an uneasy picture of how groupthink works. The concept of might is right plays out, and mean kids will always turn on anyone who is different or doesn't fit in. For a first feature, it's not perfect, but as calling cards go, it is a strong one for Charlie Pollinger. The Plague is rated MA, runs for 97 minutes, and opens in selected cinemas on Thursday the 12th of March. Now Proclivitas, which is another film imbued with a sense of dread, but this one is closer to home. Produced by Kate Separovich, Proclivitas was written and directed by Miley Tunnicliffe, an actor-turned-writer-director who has made a number of shorts and written and directed for TV series like Calling and Molly and Cara. This is her debut feature. Like The Plague, the film is something of a psychological horror, though on an even more modest scale. Rose Riley plays Claire, a young doctor who clearly has some unresolved issues at work, as well as addiction challenges. But before those are explored fully, she's called to return to the small town regional home of her recently deceased mother to sort out the belongings. Hardly made welcome by the first person she meets, a policewoman she knows from her past, Claire nonetheless settles into her mother's home and reconnects with her old boyfriend Jerry, played by George Mason, before disturbing visions, troubling memories, and an actual demon begin to rear their ugly heads. What gives the film its strength, I think, is that those disturbing elements have a very real and painful source. Overall, I'm not sure how well that tone and suspense is sustained, which can always be a challenge for someone moving up from shorts to a full feature, but it's still a commendable debut, even if it's not as immediately striking as other recent local horror debuts like The Babadook or Talk to Me. Proclivitas is rated M, runs for 103 minutes, and opens in selected screens on the 19th of March. And that's all from me for this time. Madeleine at the Movies was produced and edited by Blair Purvis. Stay safe and well, and thanks for listening.